Welcome back. So, this is Teacher Cindy. So, for today, we are going to talk about how to survive your online classes as a student. Okay. So, this video is not only for high school students, because it's also for college students and as well as grad school students. So, I prepared this coming from the point of view of a student taking an online class currently, and as a teacher who has given online classes before and would probably do and definitely do online classes by the opening of the school year. So let's talk about online classes. Primarily, in our context and here in the Philippines, there is already distance education, but most of the students are used to the traditional face-to-face learning. But because of the pandemic, okay, we have to adjust, and now we are facing various modalities and various ways on how to learn, and one of those is online learning. Okay, so let's start. How to survive online classes for students. Okay, so we have various words here, by the way. We have classes, time, distractions, workspace, and goals. So we are going to look into those one by one. So first, for the classes, my dear students, the class online and face to face are just the same. So take the online class seriously. So online classes are practically as important as the face to face classes. So you might have an impression that since because it's an online class that you could like fool around, please don't, okay? Because they are just equal, okay? Equally important, okay? They are just presented in a different modality. Learning is still learning, but it is presented in a different modality or different mode. So you could be having like blended learning, and when I say blended learning, it could be a mixture of face to face and online, which we're not currently doing in the Philippines. We could also be having online learning, which we're currently engaging, like the online classes and the modular learning for those who do not have the internet connection or even the resources, okay, for online classes. Fun facts, okay? Things you should try and find out, okay? So first, you have to find the best time to review, and this is based on your learning style and your learning preferences. You have to determine, are you a morning person or are you a night person? You have to discover if you learn better or you are more focused the morning, okay, or early morning. However, for some people, they work better at night. So you have to determine that, and that's the best time for you to review, okay? Next is take notes. It doesn't mean that it's available online, that you could watch it all over again after the online, since the online classes would be recorded, just in case they were recorded, that you should not take notes anymore. You should always take notes, okay? Because that will help you remember and understand the topics that are being discussed, okay? So that's one of the ways for you to fully understand and fully grasp the concept. I just don't know if you noticed this, but when you are listening and then writing things down, retention becomes better. You tend to understand it better, okay? And lastly, this is optional. You could use blue ink for writing since blue is a very warm and a cool color, and it's said to be highly recommendable for taking down notes. But then again, you have to consider if your notes would be submitted online, if they have to be photographed, be reminded of the requirement of the teacher. Okay, but if not, if it's only for personal use, you may try using blue ink or any color that motivates you. Okay, so those are fun facts. Okay, so again, take the class seriously. Next is Workspace. Okay, spot a place to finish your homework and to read your lecture. So that place should be your space wherein you could work. Okay, that's the place that's a place that you would own. That's a place that you could call yours. Okay, and when it's study time, that's what you think of. Okay, so reminders for the workplace. Okay, first is assign a fixed place for your study place. Okay, it should be quiet, it should be free from noise since you're having online class. And even after you had your online class, it should still be noise free because that's where you're gonna do your work, okay? It's where the expert is being baked, okay? Next, it should be well lighted and well ventilated. The space should be conducive to learning. So how could you study in a place that is totally dark, especially if you have readings to do? Okay, but if you prefer it that way, why not on your own readings? But then again, if you're doing your review, your personal reading, it would be very difficult to read in a very dark area. And if you're having online classes and when you have to turn your video on, that's very difficult. Okay. Number 3, it should not be your or near your bed as much as possible. Yes, it should not be near your bed as much as possible. You know what I mean? You might end up sleeping, and if your room is air conditioned, you are conditioning yourself to sleep. Okay, and that's the last thing that you want to happen. Okay, we want to make sure that your bed is separate from your workplace so that your mind would be set up or would be conditioned that your workplace is for work, your bed is for sleeping. Okay, and let's not mix things up. Okay, next, inform everyone about your space. Okay, it would be much better if they know your schedule. Okay, so that they would know if they could like use that space afterwards, or if they could be noisy during that time. But if they know if they know your schedule, it would be easier for them to consider you. Okay, of course it would be difficult if you're the person who's already angry yet you didn't inform the rest of the family, right? So informing everyone, open communication should be a priority. Okay, so next is post your goals. So you could like take a picture, print a picture of you graduating, or at least the toga, okay, or your name with the title. Like if, for example, if you want to be a doctor, or engineer or architect, you could write your name afterwards so that you're motivated. Okay, that's for the workspace rules. Okay, time, you have to determine your schedule. Okay, so that you won't miss any online class, you won't miss any deadline. So everything now is dependent on the learner. Okay, even if the teacher would keep on reminding, it would still be up to the learner, up to you on how you're going to complete your tasks. Okay, next, okay, be sure that you have your schedule. Next is the attendance. Okay, so attendance, you have to be punctual, have to be on time. Much better if you log in earlier to check if everything is working, like if your webcam is working, if your microphone is working. And then be present in all aspects. That means you have to be existentially present. You're not just there listening, you're there participating. Or you might be appear to be listening, but your mind is elsewhere. So you have to be present in all aspects. Okay, next is set your goals. Okay, so this could be daily goals, short-term goals, or long-term goals. Okay, it could be like, first, set your accomplished tasks or the things that you want to accomplish, or it could be good grades. This could be your motivation, or a maintained scholarship, especially if your scholarship is anchored or dependent on your grades. Or the goal could be being part of the honors list or dean's list or even president's list. Okay, and lastly, our ultimate goal if you're in college is to graduate. Okay, hello my dear mom, sir, doctor, doc, engineer, architect, officer, captain, or whatsoever that you want to be. Okay, so those are very important. Okay, and then another thing is distractions. One of the things that could limit you from learning is the distraction. You have to limit the use of social media during classes. You would only use that if your teacher and your classmates are communicating in terms of technicality reminders, or for connection purposes, or for announcements. Yes, you could use social media for those purposes. But if you're browsing while you're studying, how would you learn? Okay, then we have self-management. Okay, you have to You have to identify the distraction and do something about it. Get rid of it for the meantime, okay? If you feel like fixing the entire place, do it after your online class. If you feel like watching a video, do it after the online class. At the end of the day, your priority should be learning, okay? But you will have time for those afterwards. And then time, practice time management. You could use a to-do list. For me, I use Google Calendar. It comes handy because it syncs with my phone. Okay, when I input it using my laptop, then it syncs with my phone, and I could even set reminders. And then for the accomplishment of tasks, do all your tasks immediately. Yes, because we have the tendency to delay the accomplishment or completion of the task. So the tendency is for you to have accumulated tasks. And when deadline is there already, you are already in panic. So that's the last thing that we want to happen. Okay? So that's it. Okay, that's it for our video for today. Those are the tips on how to survive online classes for my dear students. So I hope you've learned. Okay, then this is your teacher once again, teacher Cindy. I hope you've learned. So bye-bye.